All right, guys. Today's trek into DIY tech is going to be, I'm going to show you some of the techniques and some of the equipment that I use. I think this is a good time to do it because I've finally gotten to the point where I'm pretty much set on how I shoot the videos and what I use to shoot the videos with. So I'm shooting inside the house, which I normally don't do because we have 4 dogs. The one is still a puppy. He's under 2 years. And then we have Tammy the cat, hangs out outside, and she likes to jump on the window. So at any minute, any second, really, these guys can jump up, and it's like an explosion. So before we start, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys what you look like to me from my angle. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some video here and show you guys what you look like from my angle. So check this out. So there you are. You look like a cell phone on a tripod. All right. So as we get this started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to give you the spoiler alert. I'm going to show you some things here that normally you don't see on the camera, right? So a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on. And again, I'm not a big studio, so there's not a lot of magic to it and stuff like that. There's just a few things that I do to move the story along that you may or may not consciously or subconsciously figure out while I'm recording. But yeah, if you don't want to see how the rabbit comes out of the hat, I'll give you a few seconds to cut this off and go check out one of my other videos. Okay, you're still here. So if you're still here, we're gonna go ahead and move on with it. The other thing is, this is not a commercial for any of the products that you see here. The stuff that you see here hasn't been sent to me. I've paid for everything that is here. Yeah, so it's not an advertisement or review or anything like that. This is just the stuff that I use. It's worked out well for me, and it's inside the budget, so everything. Before we touch on the equipment, though, what I'm going to say is when I first started doing this, I started doing it because I've always recorded video, but not I hadn't done it in the capacity that I'm doing it now. When I was running a makerspace, I would make videos for random things. We were doing a project and we made a kit out of it, and people wanted to see how the kit got put together, and I would make a video for that, or various things that I was doing at work concerning technology. I would show demo videos of the technology. So when I had to stop the makerspace, so we ran the makerspace for quite a bit of time, but eventually we had to close it down, right? So I had not been teaching for a while in any capacity after that. And so the boss said, and just for you guys, when I refer to the boss, not my boss at work, but my wife, who's very supportive in these things, she said, "Hey," and she saw me moping around the house. She knew what was wrong. She said, you miss teaching, don't you? So she said to me, she said, "Why don't you just do it? Why don't you just do it online?" And so I started recording these videos. And if you guys have noticed, my style of teaching is I tell you a story, and by the end of the story, the hope is that maybe you learn something through the story, or at the very least, you were entertained and you want to go find out more about the subject matter. So that's how all of this got started. And before we get into the equipment, I think we should cover, some of the techniques and things that you do. And sometimes you will see me, for example, sometimes I will reach up to the camera and touch the camera. Some of some of the cell phones, and by camera, it's cell phone now, because I used to use a camera, moved to a cell phone because some of these cell phones now have cameras or lenses that are comparable, sometimes better than other cameras. Now, you don't have the physical controls like f-stops and uh, things like that that let you manually affect the image that you're collecting. But now some of the cell phones have, software wise, they have those tools on the camera as part of the camera app. So you can, now you can simulate having an actual camera with your cell phone. So uh, that being said, now we have the facility of, you always have your best camera in your pocket, basically. And so that's some of the, there's a mix of recording, with camera and with cell phone that I've done in the past. And I've finally settled on, I use my cell phone, and I even use an auxiliary cell phone that um, I never turned in when I upgraded my cell phone. They never give you what the cell phone is worth anyway, so it's a good use of a cell phone. After you upgrade, you keep your old one, and now you have one that you're filming with. If the cell phone gets destroyed or lost in the process of filming, you still have your main cell phone with you. You were gonna upgrade anyway, right? Um, so that's what we're doing. I switched from a regular camera to the cell phone, and that's what we've used ever since. The other thing is, I also, when I started filming for the channel, I picked up a gimbal. Yeah, so I had a stabilized gimbal, and I also had a selfie drone. So I had a DJI Mini 3 that I used. Right. So now, this is the thing. The shooting style that I adopted after watching all of my old videos is handheld. I typically don't use the static shot anymore, like just sitting on the tripod. There's this really cool channel, and they make software. It's called Studio Binder. So Studio Binder is really good for creating shot lists and things like that. Again, this is not an advertisement for them. And I don't use it myself because I can't afford it. But Studio Binder is really good for creating shot lists. But they have a YouTube channel. So you should check it out, because there's a lot of good information on there on how to set up shots and how to build shots into scenes, and then into like creating full movies. Of course, we're not creating movies, but we are still using video to tell a story, right? So how you structure those stories is important when you're trying to get a certain message across in your video. And so so I use that a lot as a reference, and for learning how to put things together in a video. For example, the shot that I use where I reach up and touch the camera, and then the screen flips, right? So that used to be a function or still is a function on my cell phone, where you can flip from the front facing camera to the back facing camera by pressing a button on the screen. And so a lot of times the shot extends way past the flip, because I'm not actually using that function. But I'm simulating it in the shot that I take to create that scene, as if I'm flipping the camera around for you to see what I'm looking at. So those are all the things, and I went from the static shots on the tripod to the handheld with motion, and that is for the effect of giving you that home movie feel, as if you're there watching the action with me. And so that all of that is in there intentionally. And there's a bunch of other things that happen that I put in intentionally. There you go. Okay, I think they're done. All right. Somebody else I have to give credit to for helping me learn some of these things is Brian. If you're watching this video, you know you are. So Brian was a co-worker of mine, and he was a videographer where I was working. And watching him and asking him questions, I learned a lot of things about continuity and things like that. So like having the same shirt across your videos so that it looks like one continuous shot. Yeah, a lot of little things like that. So now that you know what the techniques and shots are, thank you, Dallas. Now that you know the techniques and shots are, I'm going to show you the equipment. And so jumping into it, this is probably one of my most used pieces of equipment. It's just a selfie stick, and it has different angles at the head. So you can set your phone up in here, and it's really easy to use because it's spring loaded. And so a lot of times when you see me in the shot and I'm doing this number, doing that handheld motion that's going on, it's being shot from here. And then I also do, so this is how I do the thing where I do like this and the camera flips. So that's how all of that gets done. And you can see it goes pretty far. It also at the bottom has a 1/4-20, so I can screw a tripod on there and set it up as a tripod. I also have when I'm in the field, we've got and it's the trigger shutter, right? So the shutter. So I wrap all of this around my wrist. Usually I just throw this on like this. And I'm walking around like this. Also have a microphone that when I have the camera on the tripod, or henceforth the cell phone shall be called a camera. When I have the camera on a tripod, sometimes, on occasion, not too often, I will use a lapel mic. And so I can set that up like that, and this gets connected to the camera. And then I have a remote microphone. And when we used to do talks on treks, and I had somebody sitting next to me and we're talking to each other, there's a second microphone. These are really cool. They charge in the case. So that's really cool, and it has a bigger case so that when I'm doing stuff in the field, I can take that with me and dump all of that in the field. So the other thing is I have a couple of action cameras. This is a 4K, and I use it a lot when we're on the bench. I'm going to show you the rest of the bench equipment in a second, but when I'm on the bench and I'm doing something here and you see a really, really close-up shot of something on the bench, usually it's sitting like this. This is also, if you've seen the Peruvian apple cactus video with the blooms and the bees, I'll put a link down below. You can check it out. But this is my it escapes me now. This is the for creating the long shots. You'll see the text over here. So this is my underwater quick action camera that I just strap onto everything. I got these both on eBay, so I didn't pay full price for them. I got them on the cheap again, like everything else. Oh, time lapse. So this is the time lapse camera, and this is the action camera. So I use them slightly differently. This one doesn't have a 1/4-20 mount, so that's a big difference between the two, aside from the 4K and so forth. So this one has a 1/4-20, so I can put it on the tripods and stuff. This one does not, so it has to go in that waterproof case, that's how I use it anyway. So, and they both have SD cards, makes it easy for editing purposes. Now this other thing, so I do use a battery bank. Battery bank most often is powering the ring light. So cool thing with the ring light, so this guy can power the ring light. Also, when I'm doing the time lapse photography, I will need a little bit of extra power for the camera, because if I leave it sitting out somewhere, the battery will run out before the time lapse is up. So, but it also powers can also power the ring light. And so if I'm doing something somewhere and I need some lighting, and I don't have an outlet nearby, I can do that. So ring lights are really cool in that they don't give you that specular light or the little dots in your filming that you usually get. And you can also put the camera filled through, all of those things. This particular one has, you can see warm light. It's got all of those features on it. So that now brings us to, I have two of these guys, one of which is facing me now, but I had one before, but the thing you want to do is you don't want to have a shot like you're having now. So by this time, this shot, the angle of this shot has been so for a while. Now, I typically don't like to do that because it locks your brain into focusing on things in the shot, and then that's how you tend to fall asleep. So I don't use that static shot too often, and so therefore I have two tripods, so I can sit one and get one shot, and then the other one will be at a different spot to get a different angle. But those, yeah, again, I got these. If you watch the cheap tripod video, you'll see where these came from. So now coming to the drone, so like the cinematic drone, the selfie drone that we used to have. It was a DJI Mini 3. I even hate to say that these days. They're so restrictive though. Sometimes they're really good for like if you want to whip a camera out and like throw it up and take some video real quick. Really good for that. But in some ways it's also restrictive in some of the things that you can do. So that's being replaced by this. There's also a video for the assembly that's happening with this drone. So this is going to be our new cinematic drone. And so what's going to happen is this camera, again the 4K camera, is going to be on a gimbal down here. So we're gonna gimbalize that camera, and this is going to be our new cinematic drone. So we have a large capacity battery that's going to go in there. We're going to have some avionics with a Copilot. So we're going to use an Arduino on here to do some really cool stuff. We'll have a gimbal here, and these these legs are going to be, the landing gear are going to be retractable, so they're going to pull up. We're going to have a 360 view and all of that. That project is also going to be, we're going to have a video for that, so you guys will be able to see how that one comes together. So those are the major ones. And speaking of 360 camera, well, when we go to the field bag that I'm going to show you in a minute, you'll see something. You'll see the 360 camera that we use. This is the microphone. When you hear narrations, you hear all the narrations that I do when we can't use the audio, or when I'm on the keyboard. This is the microphone. There's usually a windscreen here. Windscreen is just a mesh so that when I'm talking into the microphone, it doesn't pop. You guys know what a mesh looks like, so you don't have to see that. But this is what I have sitting next to the laptop when I'm editing, and provides really good audio for the price. That's a good one. If you guys want to know what any of these things are specifically, let me know in the comments and I'll answer you there. Because again, this is not an advertisement for any of these things. It's just what I use. So now we're going to go, speaking of the bench, when I was showing you the camera and the camera was pointing at the bench, this is what we use to record all the action on the bench. So this is attached to the side of the bench, and then it just gives me the ability to move, as you can see, the ability to move the camera around. So this just holds the cell phone like this, and we've got the ability to set it up anywhere, right? And so, as well as the light, right? So we've got the light is here. I can bring the light in and put it basically at any angle that we need to record all the action on the bench. So that's how that's done. And then we have the facility to add extra cameras and things like that we need. So if we're doing a close-up, for example, if we're doing a close-up with these cameras, we can do the regular shot with this arm, and then we can attach the cameras like so and get different shots, different angles. So everything is covered in there. And so that's all the stuff for shooting inside, right? So how do we get the shots outside, or how do we carry all this mess to where we're going when we're recording outside? We have the bag. And so first thing you notice is there's a little case on the outside of the bag. Why is there a little case on the outside of the bag? This is our 360 camera. So our 360 camera, it comes with its own selfie stick device, so I'll show you that. It's pretty cool because it has tripod legs on it. So, and it also has a remote button, right? So you can get that started. But it has a quarter 20 on the bottom, just like all good cameras have. And you can do that, and now you have a 360 camera. We're going to go out of the shot with this one, maybe. So it's pretty cool. So this one, you can do recording from the front lens and the back lens independently, and one has a wider angle, a wider viewing angle. And so it's very versatile. I like it. It's definitely not the highest end camera, and it does some processing to remove the stick on board. Yeah. But anyway, the 360 video. No, that one was done within this 360. But so that's how we get the videos that you will see in the Wooden Drone 360 video. That's how those are done. All right, so that's our first stop for this bag. And this bag is incredible. My mom actually sent this bag to me a while back. Oh, that even had one more section that didn't come out. So my mom actually sent me this bag. Gracias, mamá. Lo aprecio. La estoy usando todavía. Me salió bien buena la bolsa. So it has a lot of pockets. But this is how we get all this gear out there. So this is the waterproof stuff. It's all in here. We even have a waterproof bag for the cell phone, right? So we're recording with the cell phone. So all of that stuff fits in here. So all of this stuff save the the lighting, all the microphone stuff, all the tripods, all of that fits in this bag, except for the drone. That will not fit in the bag. There's a magnetic closure at the top, and you just roll it and clip this over. And so I feel bad showing you all of this because I'm not telling you what brand this is. Again, if you want to know specifically what all of this stuff is, let me know in the comments and I'll answer it there, because again, this is not an advertisement. But anyway, everything goes in there. This is probably the last piece of equipment that I'm going to show you, because, so as you can see, once this folds over, and boom, instant mobile studio. So that's what we've got going on with that. The last thing I'm going to show you is the little bits that attach the cameras to various spots when you're recording video. So this is a cell phone holder, obviously. On top of the tripods, you have that 1/4-20 mount, and these are all little metal adapters that let you change 1/4-20, so it's male to male, male to female. You can change where the thread is so that you can get the camera in different angles and attach it different ways. And then I also carry all the GoPro specific mounts in here. All that goes in there. And so you've got the suction cup and the floaty for the GoPros in here as well. So all of that, I have this one bag here that carries all that stuff, and that bag goes in the other bag. And that comprises the mobile studio part of this whole deal. So one thing that I had never used to put in there that I put in there now, aside from like things like this. So I usually don't use a script. I usually just wing it. I may write down like a couple of the topics that I want to hit during the video, but for this video I did use a script because I didn't want to leave anything out. So, but usually I don't. I'll just keep the topic in mind and go ahead and shoot the video. The other thing that I keep in there now is a roll of tape. So I use this to mark out if I have the tripod sitting somewhere, a specific spot, and I may be doing something that's going to cause me to move the tripod. I will put these tape markers down. So I'll set up my shot. I'll record a little bit, play it back so I see that everything's being recorded, and I just stick this under a couple of points on the feet, and so that when I pull this off, do whatever I'm doing, I can actually set this back on there in the correct orientation and get the shot again. Also, when I set up recording and I want to see the extent of the shot, I'll put a piece of tape on either end of the shot, and that way I'll know how far I can move things inside of the shot before they go off camera. So I hope that helps a little bit. This is just, again, there's a million resources out there for you to do this. This is just how I do it, and this is just the equipment that I use. And start recording, even if it's just on your cell phone, because yeah, you'll learn how to do it that way, and you know, you don't have to have a whole bunch of expensive equipment. All the stuff on this table are, I'm gonna say it won't even hit it doesn't even hit $300. Except for the microphone. The microphone, you do want some good audio. But yeah, it doesn't have to be an expensive venture. So as always, I do appreciate the time you spend with me. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, and share. That way, yeah, you'll help us keep making these videos. We do have a Patreon that we're gonna switch some of the talks on Treks. That playlist is it's gonna move over to the Patreon because that's very specific subject matter. But anyway, thank you for watching all the way to this point, and we'll see you in the next video. Here goes Rico. You guys are getting to see me today in my comfy shirt. So I normally don't wear the pocket shirt, but I'm in my comfy shirt today for you guys. All right.
Thought you were done.